Hello everyone, Bashar here. We are together with another raid video. So patch 840 has arrived, and as you can see the live arena stats have been improved. So this is God knows how many to buff to live arena. Right now it is getting more and more important every day. It has started giving quartz after it was implemented. The rating that you lose was nerfed and nerfed and nerfed, and at this point it is almost trivial to climb to gold. Now it's including almost every single area in the game, and primal quartz has been added, as I said, and now finally we have the sets being top notch, right? The best sets in the game almost, right? Not literal best set, but among the top sets in the game. So first of all, we have Impulse. Impulse used to be a not very happy hybrid between speed set and the reflex set. It was, I think, for 4 pieces you used to get 12% speed and something like 30% cooldown reduction. So it wouldn't give you as much speed as speed set, and it wouldn't give you as much cooldown reduction as the reflex set. And of course, guys, because you earn these not really very often, so I am playing this quite actively, and I get approximately 1 chest every 3 days or so, right? And I dare say this is rather frequent, right? 1 chest in every 2 days would be quite pushing it. You have to buy a lot of refills. You have to be winning all the time. So the availability is low, and therefore bringing 4 good pieces together is not very easy, right? That is to say, almost impossible rather. And also, being worse than speed set for providing speed, and being worse than reflex set for providing cooldown reduction, makes it a little bit of a stretch, right? Now, guys, it has been buffed into 12% speed for 2 pieces, which is the speed set itself, right? And now also has a 12% of providing cooldown reduction. So, guys, we basically have 12% cooldown reduction, a weaker version of the reflex set implemented in the speed set. So this is now one of the best sets in the game, because as you know, speed set is one of the best sets in the game, and this is providing something extra. The challenge is, of course, to get 2 good pieces together. Let me see what I have. And I have been earning these for quite a while. That is it. Oh, that's sad. That item had so much potential. Sad. That is insanely good, and that's it. So, guys, all this time of playing live arena, and I have 1 speed triple. So this is going to take some time, and of course, I might have been unlucky. You could have better, but it's not going to be easy to get this set kicking. Maybe if I get another triple, I could combine it with another piece and get some set working. Second set is Zeal. So Zeal is now the better version, rather much better version. So, guys, this is, of course, it's something extra on top of the speed set, and it's decent, but it's not, I would say, game breaking. So what I mean is, I'm not saying this set is not very good, right? This is one of the best sets in the game. I'm saying the addition on top of the speed set is nice, but also not that powerful, right? Depending on the champion. But the other one is insane. So Zeal gives you, guys, 20% crit damage, which is what the crit damage set does. On top of that, it provides you 3% damage for every 25% this champion has. So this is calculated, quite proportionally. So if you are on 50% HP, you will be dealing 6% extra damage. If you're on full HP, you will be doing 12% extra damage. And guys, 12% extra damage after all modifiers. So, if you have a good nuker, I would say that would mean like 40 crit damage or so. This is insanely powerful. and it's now only a 2-piece set, right? So this used to be a 4-piece set as well. It used to provide more damage and a little more crit damage, but it was of course worse than crit damage set. So now it's excellent, and I have high rolled this extremely good piece. I have been a little bit lucky here. I mean, if I find one more good piece, right, then I can make something happen for my Georgia. This is very serious damage upgrade, guys. I mean, I can even accept the average piece. That's not bad. Yeah, I could accept a piece like this, for example, to make this work, which is an excellent set now. So, for example, what happens if you're on 10% HP? On 10% HP, guys, you would be at 40% of the threshold, which would mean it's gonna give you 1.2% damage only, right? As I said, it's proportional. So it's not like it's working for whole 25% only, right? It works for whatever much HP you have. As I said, on 10%, it's gonna be just 1.2%, but on full HP, 100%, you're gonna get 12% damage out of it. And these sets are now insane. So, Live Arena is getting more and more and more important. So the only thing I want, guys, now, I mean, they have made it very enticing, right? Very, very nice. The only thing they need to add right now is the amount of medals that we earn, right? I mean, they need to not add that, but they need to improve that. Because the thing is, guys, if you are playing Live Arena very actively on Gold 3 or something, it would still take you more than the raid's entire lifespan to finish all area bonuses, right? More than 6 years, I have calculated, I mean, approximately. And I think that's a little bit too much. Because, guys, if you are playing the game actively, the arena bonuses, the Great Hall bonuses, can be done within 2 years, right? And if you go extra, buy refills and whatnot, that can go even lower. But this is, going to take an extremely long amount of time. So if they would buff the number of medals that are being earned by like 50% or so, it would be very, very nice. I mean, if you're doing, for example, a Synthranos upgrade, grade 3 upgrades, they take a really long time. So for example, guys, for me, I can max out. I am winning games in Gold 2 and Gold 3 more than 10 per day, right? Around 10 per day. And it takes me a little less than a month to max a grade 3 stat, right? I mean, they cost like 12,000 and it takes me like 24, 25 days to get that much. So it is a little bit hard. And imagine there are lots of stuff that you want to get. So if they would improve that, that's going to be great. These buffs are, of course, very nice and very welcome, and very also not out of place, right? Because these are very hard to earn. I think it goes without saying they should be good, right? It's not like, I can equip my Siphi in 6 impulse immediately. I mean, these don't really grow on trees, right? Very valuable. So that is the first thing. Queen Eva and Minaya have been buffed. We have a video on this. I'll just skim over it. So I think she is a really, really powerful nuker now. So if you're like mid-game, guys, I mean, stepping into the hard dungeons, doing alternate Mercalem boss, recently, that sort of stuff. And if you don't have, one of the, top-notch meta champions, she is definitely worth building. She is dealing a lot of damage now. And, these are the things that you see here. They don't say it, but they also increase the damage across all 3 abilities. So she is pretty top-notch now. We have gone also over Minaya's. Minaya, I think, was Bannerlord? Yeah. Minaya also has some sort of buff. I don't think that makes Minaya playable, right? 16 books is too much. Yeah, she needed a little bit more. The A1 also needed some buffs, because with Eva we had kind of everything buffed, right? Except for the aura, I think. With Minaya we didn't have enough buffs, I think. So I don't think Minaya comes out of the vault. But if you have a Minaya that you have booked somehow, then she can be of use. Yeah. Those are it. We have a video on Minaya and Queen Eva's buffs. And we also have some new champions. Let's go over them. I think we finally have the Undead Mythical. We have Sacred Order Faction Unit, I think. We have a second, for the first time we are getting a second Mythical Champion in Shadowkin. And I think there was one more. There was one more. Oh. I think there was one more. Bannerlords? There was some guy looking like Minsc in Baldur's Gate. Do we see any Minsc here? Minsc is here. Yes. Oh, quite look like Falmouth, eh? Oh, Minsc is the faction unity champion. Okay, there is that. Just a sec, I am just checking to see. I mean, we are going to examine all of them, but I don't wanna, skip any champion. Sorry about this, guys. I thought there were a little more changes. That's why I was so unprepared. I thought we were going to talk about some more changes, but it was those minor changes and some minor bug fixes I don't think worth really talking about. And okay. Okay, let's go over them. So we finally have the Sacred Order. Why did I say finally there? There was no need. We have a third faction unity champion joining in the fray. I mean, how good are they? Well, we were a little bit hyped for Aeslin, which I think still is the best one among the three that exist. And even Aeslin, didn't quite do it, as you know. Then we had the High Elven lady. What's the name of her? Fina, Blade of Aravia, I think. And third, we have Minsc now. That is the Sacred Order faction unit champion. Okay, let's go over this. There is, I think I am a little bit stuck. Maybe you could tell. Sorry. There is one more champion. We'll find it. I mean, because I remember 5 champions. One of them is the Fusion, which we have a video on. Second guy is this. There are 2 mythicals and 1 more guy, right? That's what I'm stuck on. We'll find it and get to it. So the first off, let's take a look at Falmon Mornsword. Mornsword is his A1. Logical. Attacks one enemy, heals this champion by 50% of damage inflicted if there is any surplus heal. So if you are overhealing, place a shield buff on this champion turn for 2 turns. Okay. So he hits for, let's say, 30k, and he has been damaged by 10% and 10,000. So he gets a shield of 5,000, right? because the shield that he's going to get is 15k, 10k heals him, and the additional 5k heals him. Will attack using the burning courage skill if the target is from the Corrupt Alliance. So Corrupt Alliance is, guys, I think from memory, Undeads, Knights Revenant, Dark Elves, and Demon Spawn, I think. I think that's the A3. So you try to use A1 on a target from the Burning Alliance, the Corrupt Alliance, and the guy uses A3 instead. Well, that is of course mighty powerful. Can be very useful in some Synthranos rooms for sure. Let's take a look. Attacks all enemies. Damage inflicted by the skill increases by 5% for each buff and debuff on target. They have added this kind of mechanic very recently, and I must admit it's pretty nice, right? They have 2 buffs and you have debuffed them twice, so you're gonna get 20% damage and ignore 25% defense of targets that have no buffs. So if you have 2 debuffs on them, you are going to ignore 25% damage, 25% defense, and then you're going to get 10% damage up. Well, that is pretty mighty, by the way. Okay, good. In Lumaya's name. Okay, let's take a look at the faction unit skill. Attacks one enemy before attacking, removes all buffs from the target. Damage increased by 20% for each buff removed. Okay, so this is the ability that he uses against targets from the Corrupt Alliance. If you have one faction line, so guys, sometimes people get confused here. This is obviously not including this guy, okay? So he doesn't immediately activate this. So you need one other faction champion from the Sacred Order to activate this. Before attacking, steals all buffs from target. Instead of removing, we steal. This effect cannot be resisted. Damage increased by 20% for each buff stolen. Not bad. Nothing too good. The damage inflicted by skill is increased by 20% for each turn taken by an ally or an enemy before this champion's next turn. So, I mean, we play, right? 5 characters take turns, and he deals double damage. That is a little bit nasty. And the thing is, guys, if this guy is going to use this skill against, you know, targets from the Corrupted Alliance instead of the A1, okay? If we attack all remaining elements with any surplus damage if the initial target is killed, this attack cannot be critical. If the initial target survives, place a guaranteed true fear debuff on all enemies. Well, that is a bit good. But guys, 3 more Sacred Order guys with this guy. He's attack based and Spirit Affinity. Let's see what the passive is. The passive is again a faction unit skill. Decrease damage taken by this champion by 10% for each turn taken by an ally enemy. Wow. So if they CC you very hard, you actually ignore all damage, right? I mean, if 10 guys take a turn, not bad, interesting. Fills an ally's turn meter by 2% whenever they place a buff or debuff. I am assuming that this is going to work, you know, multiple times. So if you decrease defense, the enemy, right, in an arena game, I'm guessing that you are going to get 8%. Duchess can get a lot of turn meter from this because Duchess, I think, puts up 11 buffs at the same time, right? 3 buffs on everyone other than herself and 2 buffs on herself, which is 22%. That's pretty nice, okay. Place a revive on death buff for 1 turn on an ally whenever their HP drops below 50%. Not bad. But keep in mind, guys, you can be killed, right? I mean, I think that it works that way. It should be working that way. So I'm guessing that you have to go below 50% and survive and then receive the buff, then avoid death, right? I don't think it just, you know, retroactively says this attack is going to get me below 50%. Let me put the revive on death and then let me survive. I don't think it works that way. It should allow you to die if you get one-shotted from anything above 50%. Allies are immune to cooldown increasing effects with 3 faction allies. Guys, I mean, So the thing is, it's a very nice warlord counter, blah blah blah, right? Nope. I mean, that means your entire team has to be Sacred Order, guys. Who you gonna bring? Cardiel, this guy, okay. Phoenix, Godseeker, and that's not an arena team. You would die. I mean, you would be immune to cooldown increasing effects, but yeah, not gonna fly. And let's take a look at the aura: 30% ally attack and additional 15% crit rate to Sacred Order, which means you can build your guys, with 85% crit. Yeah, guys, it looks good, but it's not good because the condition is very big, right? It's not very easy to bring multiple allies from the same faction, guys. So Bannerlords has the two best PvP champions, right? Or at least the best duo, right? They have Taras and Marichka, right? And even Aisling couldn't be played because he's not able to, even the abilities that he does, he's not able to replace a UDK, a Siphi, a Duchess, right? Because the guy itself is so bad, right? It doesn't. So, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the champion is bad, but if you are trying to compete at the top level of PvP, they won't be able to measure up as I said, Siphi or UDK or whoever it is, right? The top-notch guys, even with those bonuses. So there is this guy. There was the fusion, which we have gone over. So who's the other guy? There was one other guy. Dark Elf. The guy I forgot. There is an archer fella. Why can't I find it? Apologies, guys. Yeah, these are not it. Oh, that is it actually. Wallmaster Ortorion. Okay, that's the guy. I found it. Okay, guys. Sorry for being so sidetracked. My apologies. Let me go over him quickly. So, what do we have? Attacks all enemies. This attack will not trigger counterattacks. That is a nice ability, guys. And I thought it was a new ability when I saw that on Mezomel, But turns out it's actually an old ability. And one of the Doom Tower epics has it. A dark elf called Gwyneth has this ability. And fills this champion by 5% for each living enemy after the attack. Well, guys, this is not arena, but it could maybe could work in. So it could work in Hydra, 20% turn meter. It could also work in PvP, but you wouldn't be really starting out with an A1, I don't think. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Could work in some Sintranos rooms, for example, the Taras Marichka room, but that is awfully specific. So he is an attack-based champion from the Magic Affinity. The base attack is a little bit low. Let's take a look. Attacks all enemies twice. The first hit places a block debuffs. The second, okay, that is Hydra. Oh, and he is also enemy max HP based. Oh, I wonder what the multiplier is though. That is extremely important, guys. I am guessing 0.5. 0.05. I don't think we know the... So guys, I am guessing it's going to be 5% per. So that is one of the best abilities I have seen in Hydra. I mean, guys, it brings 2 debuffs that are a must to do Hydra. It also gives him 20% turn meter, and it's actually also a max HP based nuke. Wow. I mean, yeah, this is rivaling Grazur's A3, which deals A2 actually. Yeah, pretty insane. And I just almost missed it, right? This makes the entire thing entirely different, and it is a Hydra champion. Increase attack, increase accuracy, increase speed buff, and then grants an extra turn, guys. So these are comboing extremely well with, you know, any buff extenders, right? It could work with Taras, it could work with Krisk, it could work with Grazur. These buffs will become a permanent thing, which are lovely, right? Because it's on a 4-turn cooldown, on a 3-turn duration. If you extend it just once, it's going to be permanently up then. And wow, I mean, yeah, bit of a Hydra champion. Yeah. So he gets 20% HP out of Hydra head decapitations, any enemy kills, and stacks up to 50,000. So which means that gives him some extra additional survivability, which is nice. So you can build him squishy. You can make him get a few last hits on the Hydra heads, and then he'll, you know, if you build him with like 30k HP, he's gonna get up to 80k eventually. Yeah, well, with this one, yeah, top-notch Hydra champion for sure. Pretty nice. Okay, so that is the second champion, right? The third champion is the fusion, which we have a video on. So let's check out the first and only undead mythical champion. Wow, looks nasty. Ooh, okay. Okay, so the main form is attack. Attack one enemy twice. Each it restores. He is a spirit affinity champion. Each it restores this champion destroyed max HP equal to damage inflicted. Each it also heals this champion by 30% damage inflicted and gets an extra 20 if this attack kills an enemy. Okay, so if he deals like 30k damage, he's going to restore 30k HP, which means in Fire Knight this destroy HP will mean nothing to him, right? Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, 2 hits won't do it, but still, guys, it's a nice ability. He could be used in Sand Devil to a degree, of course. Let's see. Attacks one enemy 4 times. That is Ramanto. That is Ramanto with defense ignore. I think the debuffs are entirely the same. The abilities are entirely the same, right? Maybe the debuff order is different, but you know, block debuffs, block buffs, decrease defense, weaken and decrease speed. That is what Ramanto does. But Ramanto doesn't ignore 10% of defense. Awesome ability. And the ignore resistance, of course, is insane. Ramanto doesn't have that. Lovely. Attacks all enemies. This attack is always critical. I don't like this stuff, guys. So thing is, if I'm going to save some crit rate, let me just save it all around the place, right? I can't make this champion. I can't build this champion with no crit at all and rely on this. What about these two, right? I wished, for example, if they did like extra 15% or 20% crit all around, so I could have built this guy with like 80% crit, right? Okay. Kills, if it kills, gets an unkillable. If it kills 2 or more, gets a 2-turn unkillable. Of course, pretty nice. I think it can. So what this does is, guys, it doesn't just save you the crit rate. As I understand it, it is also not subject to weak hits or anything, right? So, for example, if the enemy has, you know, Elva, right? I mean, Kael, right? Any Magic Event champion, you are of course always subject to weak hits, right? This will go through that. Not bad. What the hell? Guys, I mean, we are wearing regen set for 15% heal per turn. This guy gets 50% per turn. 50% per turn. Which means if he's not getting one shot, he's gonna heal to full or thereabouts. Wow. So guys, there is one thing against him soloing, right? And that is he doesn't scale, right? He doesn't have a max HP base damage. He doesn't have poisons. He doesn't have HP burn. So he doesn't deal percentage damage. But this would allow him to out-survive anything, right? I mean, if the damage, so for example, he wouldn't be able to do solo dragon, right, unless you give him extremely good gear. Why? Because dragon deals increasing damage with the scorch ability, and you would be dead before you would be able to kill him, right? Because at some point he just one shots you. But if you give him, very insane gear, maybe you could kill him. But there is a problem with that, right? So, but he could be of use in Synthranos rooms where there is a lot of damage and not too much shield in the enemy. This is insane, by the way. I mean, we don't have any champion that comes close. 50% heal per turn. Okay. The alternate form is, I think, attack as well. I have seen it. Wow. Angel of Death sort of thing. And there are a little bit too many skulls here. Okay. So he is again an attack champion. This time around, he, I think, works on Hex. So attacks one enemy, transfers all debuffs from this champion to target. This ability is always useful. If they have Hex before the attack, he transfers all debuffs before attacking instead. So what does this mean? This means if you have decreased defense and weaken and whatnot on you, right, or a decreased attack, right? Decreased attack prevents your damage. Decreased defense and weaken allow the enemy to take more damage, so you would be able to transfer them all, right? That's not bad. Attacks all enemies before attacking, removes all debuffs from this champion. Okay, damage increases by 10% for each debuff on the target, and if they have Hex, it will ignore 20% of each target's defense. That's interesting. Okay, now we will have something like Hex. Okay, oh, Screaming Hydra here. I think this is the first time in the game. Life Barrier and Poison Cloud being ignored. I don't think these exist. These are, as you know, Hydra stuff. So attacks all enemies. Before attacking, he places a Hex and a decreased defense. I mean, wonderful. Well, I'm just checking the Hydra potential, guys. But he doesn't bring anything other than the Hex and decreased defense. I mean, this would be a really good damage move, but I mean, he doesn't bring anything else. I mean, I think obviously he's designed with Hydra in mind, but he brings a little bit too little to the table. But could be, insane damage and could be used. Garol also doesn't bring too much, but Melting Faces is pretty good. But joining, of course, matters. Fully heals. Okay. When they kill someone under Hex, fully heals. Ozing Champion. Interesting mythical. I'm not sure how I like this form. The base attacks are the same in both forms. Not bad. Okay. So we have gone over the fourth champion now, and finally we have the second Shadowkin, legendary. He's an attack based in the main form, and I think he is that red eye looks cool. He is HP based in the alternate form. So he does have a thing for leech. So the A1 attacks one enemy and 50% chance of attacking another enemy if they have leech. So with this guy we will have leech kind of everywhere, so 50% chance of attacking someone else. That's pretty good. And also gets perfect veil. That's also good. Attacks 4 times at random. Each it increases this champion's attack and HP by 5% while in their base form. So I mean, if you transform into the alternate form, you don't get those bonuses. These are pretty serious bonuses, guys. So 20% attack and HP is insane. If the target is under a leech debuff, 10% instead. So a single use of this ability is going to give you 40% attack and HP, which is insane, which can be done multiple times. And also this skill deals 15% for each leech debuff on the enemy team, which means if you are facing Hydra, this guy is Hydra, born for Hydra, 60% increased damage, which is also very good. And yeah, as you can guess, he does do the leech, attacks everyone, plays a decreased defense and leech, and then if he places an extra hit on all enemies under 2 or more debuffs, which means, guys, he will place an extra hit if he's able to put up his own debuffs. And as you can see, he has 2 multipliers for each of his skills. So guys, what does that mean? It means this guy deals damage based of attack mainly, and HP is the side modifier that helps. So how can I tell? The first one that's listed, so the ordering is not random. The first one that's listed is the main modifier, and the second thing is the side modifier, right? It doesn't add as much damage as the main one. So HP doesn't add as much damage as the attack, right? Of course, the multipliers are different, but you know that means you should be going for attack. So that means that's going to be a nice damage up, right? And yeah, he hates leech. So he gets 5% turn meter every time I attack a target under leech debuff, which means he's getting 20% turn meter here. He's gonna get a whopping 40% turn meter here, or maybe 20% only the first time around, because he does them, then he does the extra attack, and only the extra attack is going to be done on leech targets, so he's going to get 20%. But after the first use, if you can keep the leech up, he's going to gain 40% turn meter out of this, which is pretty insane. And he also deals 25% more damage to yeah, he hates leech. And thing is, guys, I'm sure if you haven't read the champion so far, I'm sure you're impressed by his Hydra potential. But if I recall, the alternate form is even better. I mean, yeah. And so I wouldn't be sure which one to use in Hydra. Wow, he looks handsome now. What a nice hat. Nice looking sword too. Let's see what he does. HP based champion has decent HP. Let's take a look. Attacks all enemies, 50% chance of deleting all enemy debuffs by 1 turn. That's an A1. It's a damn A1, guys. The A1 has a chance to increase on everyone. So he hits everyone, and also he increased duration of all enemy debuffs by 1 turn, which is absolutely insane for an A1. And as you can see, this time around he is HP attack, which means this time HP is the main thing and attack is the side thing. Sadly, his attack is a little bit low. Okay. Attacks all enemies, heals all allies except this champion by 10% damage inflicted. The value of the heal increased by 5% for each leech debuff on the enemy team, which means it's gonna increase by 20%, which means he's gonna heal everyone by 12% of the damage that he deals. But the thing is, guys, you know, with decreased defense and weaken and whatnot, right? And you know, the way you gear this guy, he can be dealing damage in the millions. And I would say that's gonna full heal everyone. So every time he does this ability, every single champion in your team will be fully healed. Yeah, that's what it means. Because guys, imagine dealing 1 million. That means everyone is going to heal by 120k, except himself, of course. But he would be hitting a target with leech, therefore he also would be healing to full, right? Doesn't matter. Okay, attacks all enemies, decrease speed and leech and an extra turn, right? It's what? Decrease speed and leech, right? And attacks all enemies. It's not like he's just debuffing and getting an extra turn. No. He hits them in the face and then gets an extra turn. Yeah, I mean, beyond crazy. And he receives double healing when attacks under. So if I recall, guys, when you attack leech targets, you get 18% healing, right? So whatever damage you do, you get healed by 18%. So this guy is going to heal by 36%. I'm just going to say every time he takes a turn, he's going to heal to full, right? That's it. And also he takes 50% less damage from leech. I mean, yeah, he is very insane. So guys, I would have loved it if this ability didn't give the HP and attack in the base form only, would have been insane. You know, you do the A2, you play a few more turns, you do another A2, then you do another A2, and then bang, switch into this double HP, double attack, and you know, melt faces. So if I get this champion, I would love it if I could get this guy. If I get this champion, I wouldn't be very sure which form to use in Hydra battles. You know, both are magnificent, so it's a little bit, you know, confusing. You know, both forms do the leech, both forms. So this one looks better, but the other one has the 100% HP and attack scaling, which would make him deal quite a lot of damage. Yeah, we'll have to see. Toshiro. So that's about it with the patch 840, guys. We have the live arena sets rebalance, we have 2 champion rebalances, and all in all we got 5 champions: the fusion, the sacred order faction unit champion, the high elf max HP based nuker that does block buffs and decrease attack, right? And we have the finally the undead mythical, and now we have the second Shadowkin mythical. So that brings the number of the champions, the number of mythical champions in the game up to 16. Well, that is a bit of a trick because no one in the world has Carnage the Anarch yet. We are gonna start getting Carnage the Anarch in about, I think, 2 weeks of time, approximately 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then the first Carnage the Anarchs will start appearing in the world, and then, you know, all mythical champions will be available. Because as you know, you have to fully finish hard mode Cursed City of Sintranos 5 times in order to get Carnage the Anarch. We are on the 4th rotation, so even the strongest players in the world don't have him just yet. But after the reset and 13 days elapse, it's gonna be obtained. So that's it, guys, and I will see you on the stream. Bye bye.